Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. This is the post-fight review for the fight between Evgeny Romanov and Siarhei Liakhovich, which was in Ekaterinburg, Russia. So this was all over in 2 rounds. As expected, Romanov, who was the favourite heading into this fight, he was the unbeaten guy at 14-0, gets the stoppage in 2 rounds against a 44-year-old opponent in Liakhovich, who really hasn't been doing too much of late. He's on the downslide of his career, just basically a flat-out sort of gatekeeper level journeyman. So there's only so much credit that Romanov can get for this win. It sort of is one of these situations where I guess what we're calling them COVID fights. A lot of heavyweights are coming back into a fight after a stretch out of the ring because of the pandemic. And basically they're not facing anyone good. And this certainly falls into this category. Liakhovich, no disrespect, he's a 44-year-old guy now. He has devolved into a flat-out journeyman. Didn't really provide anything in this fight. First round, Romanov, he was coming forward, exerting some pressure, but he wasn't so on Liakhovich that he was backing him up or anything like that. But he was just right there in front of him the whole time, exerting pressure on him, looking for jabs, looking for right hands round the guard. Just a feeling out process this first round. It wasn't too much of note that landed. 1 or 2 nice combinations towards the end of the round, but it was a sort of, having a look type of round. But the second round, Romanov just sort of ramped it up a bit more. Some stinging body shots finding the target, and Liakhovich didn't like it, and that was bringing his arms down, and then all of a sudden Romanov started to go a bit more up top. And the body language, it's immediately changed. So this one only went just over a minute into the second round, but the body language towards the end wasn't good, and he was able to catch him with a really nice left hook. See here on screen, this is the sort of still shot of that. And if you want to see the full fight, you can go to RCC Boxing, and it is on there. So you'll just have to have a flick through, because it is in Russian, the title. So you'll see Romanov and you go, okay, so this is the fight against Liakhovich. But that dropped Liakhovich, that left hook, and he caught him with a right body shot on the way down, and Liakhovich had enough. Didn't beat the count, and it looked like he probably could have, but I think in the circumstances, probably for his safety in terms of not taking any more punishment, probably a wise decision. This was only ever going to go one way from that point, but the referee waves it off, and we have a winner in Evgeny Romanov, who's a world-rated fighter in the WBO, advances to 15-0, and he retains his WBO global title. And I guess the question is, what did we learn from this fight? Well, to be honest, not too much. This was the same sort of performance we've seen from Romanov before. Similar sort of opponent to some others he's fought recently. And when I say recently, I mean in the past year or two. He's had a number of these sort of level of fights. And I think it's time for him to really hit the go button, because he is 35 years old, 15-0 now. I mean, is he really sort of a prospect? He's good enough to be in much better fights, and he should be. And I know that part of this year we can go, okay, there was a pandemic, there wasn't the opportunity to fight, so it is one of these sort of circumstances. But he was out of the ring ahead of this fight since August last year, so there has been some inactivity that's either of his team or whoever's promoting him. They haven't had him active enough. And as a guy who is now 15-0, where's he going? What's he going to do? He's got to actually try to, climb up some of these sanctioning bodies. He's already got an in the WBO through this global title. He needs to be in Eliminator's much better fights. He is one of these guys that maybe a number of similar sort of talented heavyweights in the division who may have similar rankings will perhaps steer clear of. They may look for softer options. But for Romanov, his time, his prime is starting to ebb away, so he's got to be in much better fights. I wouldn't mind him calling out some of his Russian heavyweight contemporaries. You think the likes of Arslanbek Makhmadov, but also there's Sergey Kuzmin, Abdi Dovtaev. Some of those fights would make some sense. Maybe more establish his level. It's one of these things that he's kind of treading water at the moment, going nowhere fast. And at this rate, his sort of window may just sort of close, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, he could have done something and he'll be known as that guy that beat Deontay Wilder in the amateurs, but maybe his window slips away. So whoever is guiding him right now needs to really push it a bit quicker than they have, make things happen. And I guess they're going to have to overpay to get good opponents, especially to go to Russia. That's just a reality. But it's one of these things that's not, just in itself for a Russian thing. Anyone at the moment is having to pay a premium to get those better fights. And we are actually seeing some other prospects in the heavyweight division managing to get the sort of right fights at the right time, a la Tony Yoka, for example. Some other heavyweights like Filip Hrgović, you'd like to see them in with some of the guys that Yoka is facing. But Romanov, hopefully it's not going to be a coulda, shoulda, woulda sort of situation, because clearly he's of a certain level, he's ready for bigger and better tests, and let's hope he gets them. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment. Loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.